What if growing older did not mean growing weaker? What if aging gracefully was not about resisting time, but about embracing it with kindness? Imagine this. Each meal becomes more than just food. It becomes a moment, a pause, a chance to listen to your body's quiet wisdom. For many of us, food has been tied to rules, guilt, or habits we never questioned. Clean your plate. Don't waste. Finish what's in front of you. Sound familiar? But there is another way, a gentler way, one that honors your body instead of pushing it. In a small corner of the world, on an island in southern Japan, women live into their 90s and even beyond 100, and they do it not with expensive supplements, not with perfect diets, and not with intense exercise. They do it with rhythm, with presence, with one quiet, powerful habit passed down for generations. It is called Hara Hachi Bu. That means eat until you are 80% full, not stuffed, not uncomfortable, just satisfied. It is not about shrinking yourself. It is about giving your body exactly what it needs, no more, no less. This small shift, practiced slowly, day by day, has helped women live not just longer lives, but better ones. More energy, clearer minds, less pain, more freedom. The Okinawan secret, Hara Hachi Bu. In Okinawa, a small island at the southern tip of Japan, women live some of the longest and healthiest lives in the world. At 85, they are still gardening. At 90, they are still cooking for themselves. And well into their 90s, they are still walking to the market each morning. So, what is their secret? It is not wealth. It is not advanced technology. And it is definitely not willpower. It is a quiet practice, a habit so deeply woven into their culture that they almost do not think about it anymore. It is called Hara Hachi Bu, a phrase taught to children from a young age, reminding them to stop eating when their stomach is 80% full. Now, let us pause for a moment and really think about that. In many Western homes, a meal ends when the plate is clean, when the stomach feels full, or when the pants feel tight. But in Okinawa, a meal ends when the body feels light, when energy is still flowing, and when movement after eating feels easy. Hara Hachi Bu is not about measuring food. It is about feeling. It teaches you to ask a simple question. Am I still hungry? Or am I just continuing to eat out of habit? When you stop at 80%, you give your body time to catch up, to signal fullness before you cross the line into heaviness. And that space, between hunger and fullness, is where healing begins. Women in Okinawa have lived this way for generations. They eat slowly. They chew thoughtfully. They pause between bites. And they stop not when they are full, but when they are satisfied. No guilt, no rush, no rules, just awareness. And here is the beautiful part. It is not about control. It is about respect. Respect for your digestion. Respect for your body's quiet signals. Respect for the life energy that food provides. So, the next time you sit down for a meal, remember this wisdom from the women of Okinawa. Eat until you feel just enough. Not full, not stuffed, just balanced, steady, and light. Because you do not need more food. You just need more connection to your body, your rhythm, and your own gentle wisdom. Presence over portion. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly sat down with your meal? Not just physically, but emotionally? No television, no phone in your hand, no rushing, multitasking, or finishing your plate without thinking. Just you and your food, and a quiet moment of presence. In Okinawa, meals begin with a simple phrase, itadakimasu. It means, I humbly receive. This short moment of gratitude is more than tradition. It is a pause that brings the mind into the present and invites the body to prepare for nourishment. Imagine starting every meal with that kind of calm. No pressure to eat fast. No distractions pulling your attention away. Just appreciation for the food before you and the body that will receive it. That presence changes everything. When women in Okinawa sit down to eat, they do not stand or walk around with their food. They sit at a table, sometimes in silence or with gentle conversation. They eat slowly. They chew each bite with care. They put their utensils down between bites. They pause. They breathe. They listen. By the time they finish, they are not just nourished, they are centered. Compare that to how many of us eat in the West. We eat on the go. We eat while watching television, while reading emails, while scrolling through news or social media. Often, we finish a meal and barely remember how it tasted, or even how much we ate. The body may be full, but the heart is still empty. That is the quiet danger of distracted eating. It may fill the stomach, but it starves the soul. But when you bring presence to your plate, everything changes. You chew more, you digest better, you feel more satisfied, even with less food. And slowly, meal by meal, you begin to rebuild a relationship with your body that is rooted in trust, not in control. So the next time you sit down to eat, try this. Turn off the television, put away the phone, take one deep breath, and say quietly to yourself, I humbly receive. Because how you eat is just as important as what you eat. And in that small pause before your first bite, you may just begin to feel something you have not felt in years: peace. Food as gentle medicine. For many years, we have been told that food is either something to fear or something to indulge in. We count calories, we chase diets, or we eat to numb, to comfort, to distract. But in Okinawa, the women there hold a different belief. To them, food is not a battle. It is not a burden. It is not the enemy. Food is life force. And more than that, food is medicine. Not medicine from a bottle, not prescribed, not sterile, but soulful, warm, homemade medicine, served 3 times a day, in small bowls with loving hands. A typical meal, it is not large, it is not heavy, but it is full of color, intention, and healing. A small portion of bitter melon to support the liver, some seaweed, rich in minerals and iodine for healthy thyroid function. Warm miso broth, gentle on digestion, full of probiotics for gut health. Root vegetables like sweet potatoes or daikon, slowly simmered in broth, and a little ginger for warmth and circulation. These are not exotic foods to the women of Okinawa. They are everyday staples, humble, seasonal, local, and deeply nourishing. There is no processed sugar, rarely red meat, no heavy sauces or creams. Instead, each bite has a purpose, not to impress, but to support the body. Elderly women in Japan often begin their day not with pastries or cereal, but with a warm bowl of soup. They do not eat on the run. They do not skip meals. They prepare food slowly, sometimes beginning before sunrise, and eat with care. Mrs. Ko, age 89, still cooks her own breakfast every morning. She says, "If my stomach is calm, my mind is clear. I do not need more than that." And maybe that is the lesson many of us need to hear. You do not have to become a chef. You do not need rare ingredients. You do not have to follow a strict plan. All you need is the willingness to treat food differently, not as a chore, but as a chance to care for yourself. Start with one dish. Try a warm miso soup in the evening. Brew a tea with fresh ginger. Cook one meal slowly, with love, without rushing. Let it be simple. Let it be warm. Let it be yours. Because when you begin to treat food as gentle medicine, you start to remember something powerful. Health does not come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from presence, from care, from the quiet decision to nourish, not just survive. So tonight, ask yourself, what does my body truly need? And how can I give it that with love? Just enough, the power of lightness. There is something powerful about stopping before you are full. It is not about being strict. It is not about following a diet. It is about honoring your body's natural rhythm. The women of Okinawa do not eat until they are stuffed. They do not push through to finish everything on the plate. They do something different, something subtle. They stop when they feel just enough. And here is the surprising part. They feel better because of it. After a meal, they do not need to lie down. They do not feel sluggish or uncomfortable. Instead, they feel light, clear, able to move, to think, and to continue their day with ease. That feeling of lightness, that is the gift of Hara Hachi Bu, the practice of stopping at 80% fullness. In the Western world, we have often been taught the opposite. Many of us grew up hearing, "Finish your plate," or "Do not waste food." And so we ate past fullness, not because we were still hungry, but because we felt we had to. We have learned to eat with our minds, not our bodies. We eat by habit, by routine, by emotion. But your body knows what it needs. It is always speaking, through feelings of satisfaction, lightness, and calm. The challenge is slowing down long enough to hear it. Mrs. Naomi, age 93, said something beautiful. She said, "I do not want to be full. I want to feel light, so I can move through life." Think about that for a moment. Not full, but free. Not heavy, but whole. That kind of freedom does not come from eating less, just to eat less. It comes from choosing presence over pressure, from recognizing the moment when your body says, "That's enough for now," and gently honoring that moment. When you eat to the point of comfort, not discomfort, you begin to feel a shift. Your digestion improves. Your sleep becomes deeper. Your mind feels clearer. You regain a sense of control, not from willpower, but from deep listening. Let me be clear. This is not about perfection. You will have days when you eat a little more. You will have moments when you reach for something out of emotion, not need. That is part of being human. But over time, practicing this idea of stopping at just enough begins to change you. You may begin to notice that you no longer crave as much sugar. You may feel less bloated after dinner. You may even look forward to that light, clear feeling after eating. Because in that feeling is power. The power to move, the power to breathe deeply, the power to feel well in your own skin, and perhaps most importantly, the power to trust your body again. You are not too old to change. You are not too late to begin. You do not need to count, measure, or restrict. You just need to listen. So the next time you eat, pause. Notice how your body feels halfway through. Ask yourself, do I need more, or am I simply used to continuing? And then, without guilt, stop at just enough. That one moment, that one pause, can give you more energy, more clarity, and more peace than any diet ever could. Because fullness does not always mean well-being, but lightness. Lightness brings life. Start where you are. Gentle shifts at home. You do not have to move to Japan. You do not need to change your entire lifestyle overnight. And you certainly do not need to give up the foods you love. The beauty of Hara Hachi Bu, the practice of stopping at 80% fullness, is that it can begin anywhere, including right where you are, right now, even in a small apartment, a busy household, or a quiet home where you eat alone. It begins not with rules, but with gentle shifts. Start by using smaller plates or bowls. It may sound simple, but it sends a message to your body. This is enough. I do not need more to be okay. Next, slow your pace. Take a deep breath before your first bite. Put your fork or spoon down between bites. Let your mouth finish one bite before the next begins. Halfway through the meal, pause. Not to count anything, but simply to check in with yourself. Ask, how do I feel right now? Am I still hungry or just comfortable? That moment of awareness can change the entire way you relate to food. If you want something warm and comforting after the meal, try a cup of tea, barley tea, chamomile, or simply hot water with lemon can give your body a gentle sense of closure, a way to say, this meal is complete. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to eat like this every day. But each time you choose to eat with intention, even if just one meal a week, you build a new rhythm, a calmer rhythm, one that nourishes you without overwhelming you. Remember, aging well is not about following a plan perfectly. It is about finding a way that feels gentle and sustainable for you. Some days you will eat a little more. Some days you will forget to pause. That is okay. What matters most is that you come back to yourself, to that quiet voice inside that knows when enough is truly enough. Because healing does not begin in rules. It begins in attention. So tonight, choose one small shift. Maybe you light a candle at the table. Maybe you serve yourself a little less. Maybe you eat without any screens, just once this week. Whatever it is, let it be small and let it be filled with care. Because the journey to better health is not a sprint. It is a return to presence, to rhythm, and to the deep wisdom you have carried all along. This is not a diet. It's a rhythm. By now, you may be thinking, this sounds a bit like a diet, but let me be clear. This is not a diet. There are no meal plans, no forbidden foods, no counting, no pressure. This is a rhythm, a way of living that brings you back into harmony with your body. And what is powerful is that modern science is finally catching up to what the women of Okinawa have known for generations. Eating until you are about 80% full, as practiced in Hara Hachi Bu, has been linked to lower risks of chronic disease, healthier metabolism, and longer lifespan. A long-term study published in the journal Nature in the early 2000s showed that caloric moderation without malnutrition improved life expectancy in multiple species, including primates. This means when the body receives enough to function, but not so much that it is constantly digesting and storing excess, it performs better, from the cells to the brain. Another study from the National Institute on Aging showed that reducing calorie intake by just 10 to 20% without dieting or restricting essential nutrients can slow down age-related diseases, such as diabetes, heart disease, and even some cognitive decline. And here is the key. You do not need to starve yourself. You do not need to become a nutrition expert. You only need to listen to your body and stop eating when you feel light, clear, and satisfied, not full, not heavy. This is what makes Hara Hachi Bu so different from typical weight loss approaches. Diets often ask us to restrict, to count, to control. And what happens? We may follow them for a few weeks. Then life gets busy. Emotions rise, and the old habits come back. But rhythm? Rhythm stays. You do not need willpower to follow a rhythm. You only need consistency, a pattern. The body loves rhythm. The heart loves rhythm. Even your digestion follows a natural rhythm. When you create a pattern of calm, mindful eating, your body responds in kind. You feel less bloated. Your energy levels even out. You sleep more soundly. You begin to crave real nourishment, not just something sweet or salty to fill a moment. Mrs. Clara, age 67, shared her experience. She said, I used to eat until I could not move. Now I eat until I feel like moving. That is the shift. Not less life, but more life. Not punishment, but presence. Over time, this rhythm becomes your foundation. You start to eat in tune with how you want to feel, not what a diet tells you to do. You reclaim your sense of agency, your power to make food choices not from habit or emotion, but from awareness and care. And no matter your age, your background, or your health status, that is a power you can still access. You are not too old, you are not too late, and you are not broken. You are just ready. Ready to return to a natural, loving rhythm that your body has been waiting for all along. So the next time you sit down for a meal, ask yourself, is this supporting my rhythm? Will this help me feel light, clear, and present? If the answer is yes, you are already living the wisdom of Hara Hachi Bu, and you are doing it in a way that is uniquely yours. The art of aging. Well, so now you know. The secret to aging well was never hidden in a bottle. It was never locked inside a complicated program, or a trend, or a rule book. It has always been right there, on your plate, in your breath, in the quiet space between hunger and fullness. Hara Hachi Bu is not about being less. It is about living with more clarity, more freedom, and more respect for the body that has carried you through so much. Because this is not about weight. This is not about numbers. This is about peace. The kind of peace that comes when you choose to care for yourself, not out of guilt, but out of love. The women of Okinawa do not chase youth. They do not fight age. They embrace rhythm, simplicity, and consistency. They rise early, move gently, eat slowly, and laugh often. They stop eating before they are full, and they live, truly live, into their 80s, 90s, and beyond. But here is what matters most. You do not need to live in Okinawa to live like them. You can begin, right here, right now, in your own home, in your own time, at your own pace. Tonight, try this. Before your next meal, take one deep breath. Say quietly to yourself, I choose to care for my body. Then serve a little less than usual. Eat a little slower. Maybe light a candle. Maybe turn off the noise. And when you begin to feel satisfied, not full, just enough, let that be your stopping point. Let that be your act of strength. Let that be your new rhythm. You are not starting over. You are returning to yourself, to your wisdom, to your natural grace. Because aging well is not about doing everything right. It is about doing the small things, again and again, with intention, love, and presence. Mrs. Naomi, age 93, said it best. I do not want to be full. I want to feel light so I can move through life. So now, I offer this gentle invitation to you. Choose presence over pressure. Choose rhythm over rules. Choose nourishment over noise. And in doing so, choose a life that feels lighter, clearer, and truly yours. This is the art of aging well, not fighting time, but walking with it, with grace, with rhythm, with heart.